It's a 3 versus 3 debate on debate number 2 on the Newshour tonight. Now let's divide it, both sides. For the bill, Teesta Setalwad. Against the bill, Siddharth Nath Singh of the BJP. For the bill, Kamal Farooqi, member of the Muslim Personal Law Board and of the Samajwadi Party. Against the bill is Sudhindra Kulkarni, author, columnist, formerly with the BJP. For the bill is Randeep Singh Surjewala, BJP spokesperson and leader. And against the bill, my first question is to Ved Pratap Vaidik. He's a political analyst, leans to the right. Now, Ved Pratap Vaidik, what principally, if you can articulate it very quickly, and then we'll go for and against, what principally is your opposition to the communal violence bill? I thought after Muzaffarnagar, after seeing the kind of riots that happened in Uttar Pradesh, everyone, including you, would have felt this was the right time to bring in a bill which would act as a major curb on communal violence.
Well, such bills are not a guarantee to stop the communal violence. In fact, bills of this kind will perpetuate communal violence much more than what we see today, because violence, whether I commit or you commit, is the same. This bill presumes that only the majority commits violence and minority has to be protected, while I believe violence can be committed by anybody, majority or minority. The law should act as a universal kind of phenomenon. It should not be based on a bias or a presumption which has no basis. So this law is turning the law itself on its head. It's a mockery of the law.
Teesta Setalwad.
The citizens of...
Let's get Teesta Setalwad. The point is simple, and I think that's the basic point of contention that everyone who is against this bill has. They say, how do you make an assumption that only the minority community is the victim and the majority community, is the oppressor and is the villain? It's a relevant question because there have been many examples when majority have been the victims. Yes, please, Teesta Setalwad.
Absolutely. Can I answer, please?
Go ahead.
Now, I just want to say that we need to look at the foundations and the fundamentals why we need such a radical law. Just like why we need the Lokayukta law, for instance, to end corruption, which never took place for 40 years. Our democracy, wonderful as it is and survived as it is, has shown serious fissures. One of the fissures and fault lines of the Indian democracy has been on the issue of communalism, whether we like it or not. Pre-partition, independence, post-partition. Now this bill, which seeks to become a law, seeks to recognize these fissures and correct them. Now the NAC draft with which I was associated, and I want to come upfront about it, defined the group that was affected as a minority group vis-a-vis a district of the country. So it could have been one minute, let me finish, Adna. A minority in Godhra or Malegaon would be a Hindu minority, or a minority in Kashmir would be a Kashmiri Pandit minority. It was willfully misunderstood. So I would like to just make a point today, because I think this law is too important to get into petty politicking, that this bill seeks to be introduced in Parliament. The UPA should have done this much earlier. Hopefully it will do it now. The fault lines are clearly drawn. Today the National Conference has welcomed it, the NCP has welcomed it, JDU has welcomed it. I think the TMC will also welcome this. It's going to a standing committee of Parliament, which will be headed by the opposition party, which at the moment is a BJP. BJP could come to power tomorrow.
No,
what is wrong with such a bill getting tabled and getting debated in the democratic process? Change the definition of the group if you want, but why are you against?
So you're saying, 1 minute. You as somebody who drafted the bill. As somebody who drafted the bill, you agree that the definition of group may have been flawed.
No, I'm not agreeing.
That the definition of group may have been flawed. You admit that.
Misunderstood. No, I'm trying to explain it. That if you look at the district of Malappuram in Kerala, which is Muslim majority, the minority there is Hindu. If you look at the district of Malegaon or Godhra, the minority is Hindu. If you look at the Jammu and Kashmir, the minority is Hindu. I think it has been willfully misunderstood by the Vishwa Hindu Parishad,
no.
RSS and
Let's
the BJP
get third perspective.
That wanted to destroy this law.
No, let's get the other side. You must listen to the other side.
Why not get the bill tabled and debate it before a standing committee? We are not talking the Anna language.
We are. See,
we are not saying that let this law be passed without a debate.
You see, the only question is that
but
why does the bill
be against a law against communal violence?
No, one second. See, we are only on one point. Why does this bill presuppose?
No, we are not. You can't junk the law. You can't junk the law on the basis of a group definition.
Let's get the other side in. Let's get the other side in. You see, their problem is that this...
the other side in. That's why we're having a debate.
Yeah, that's what. You see, what happens is you're from Mumbai.
My point is that what about the accountability of public servants?
What's up? Let's not... No, don't divert. Don't divert from the subject at hand.
No, it's not divert.
Let's get another side in.
Sections of the bill.
1 second.
Why has JDU supported it today?
They may for...
Why has NCP supported it? Why has Omar Farooq has said that a bill that ends communal violence is necessary?
That doesn't matter. Politicians are not always right. No. Politicians are not always right.
But neither is the BJP always right.
No, neither are ruling party politicians always right. Neither is the BJP always right. I'm only saying this. Please don't get provoked by what I'm saying. As I give you as an example today. I must hand over to Sudhindra Kulkarni. You see,
CPM has also supported.
One second. Please hear the other side. I'm going to give one example. And Teesta Setalvad don't respond. I'm giving this as an example, as a thought for our viewers before Sudhindra Kulkarni comes to debate. 4 of our speakers haven't spoken. You see Radhabai Chaul riots. You're from Mumbai, Sudhindra Kulkarni, so is Teesta Setalvad. Mumbai riots 1993. The Radhabai Chaul incident on January 8th, right? In which 9 members of a Hindu family, one a handicapped girl, were set ablaze. That incident triggered another wave of riots in Mumbai. Now, in this case, the majority was the victim. And the argument is, in this particular case, the majority... 1 second.
No, can I say something?
You listen to the other side. I'm giving one example. I want Sudhindra Kulkarni to come in.
I'm correcting your facts because on the 5th of January, a family of Muslims was also burnt alive in a red Maruti car.
That's the problem. You see, you cannot divide. You can't divide people on. You can't divide people on those lines. Majority.
Well, you are the one who's doing it, Adna. Well, you're the one who's doing it.
The definition of group is doing it. Excuse me. Excuse me. The definition of group is doing it.
No, it's not.
Okay, you may think it's not, but here's Sudhindra Kulkarni anyway. Sudhindra Kulkarni is responding now to Teesta Setalvad. Teesta, listen to him and then you can come.
No, I'm not responding to her.
You go ahead.
I'm participating in this very important discussion.
Go ahead.
Any communal riot in India is a crime against humanity. It's violation of God's law and law of the land. Whether the victim is a Hindu or a Muslim or any other community, it's shame on India, and we must go towards a future when India becomes riot-free. But communal violence bill, if you read it in its present form, this is a communal bill. It's not a communal violence bill, nor to prevent communal violence. It stigmatizes, it victimizes majority, condones minority.
Does it?
Of course. Let me give an example.
Isn't that the reality? That argument will be, is it not the reality?
No, but as you yourself, you gave the example of the Radhabai Chaul.
I give one example.
Now, the Radhabai Chaul example shows that under this bill, it's not a communal violence.
It's not. It does not invite the communal violence bill or the act. When it happens.
You see, every single incident of communal violence should be covered by the law. The law should be equal. It should provide equal protection to all. But let me give more examples. Godhra.
Okay.
The torching of the compartment, which unfortunately led to a bigger communal violence, that is not covered here. Similarly, if you read the definition, if you read the definition of the group, it excludes scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and minorities. Now, take the example of the communal violence between Bodos and Muslims in Assam. Bodos are a tribe. So, this violence is not covered under the communal violence. Shias and Sunnis, there is a long history of violence between these two sects of Muslims.
Yeah.
But this is not covered because
No,
it is meant to be
why give a
targeted violence.
Let's get one second.
You know, there are many examples in India where there is violence between scheduled castes and Muslims, tribals and Muslims. It is not covered. Therefore, it gives a very distinct impression that this is an anti-majority bill. Whatever may be the intent.
And timing?
Of course, you know, the fact that it is coming just before the election, after all these, it is being introduced in Parliament now. What signal does it give?
What signal does it? Be direct, then we'll get Randeep Surjewala to respond.
See,
so will Kamal Farooqi.
It gives a signal that this is meant to send a signal to the minority community. You know, minority community requires as much protection as majority community. We should not make any distinction when it comes to communal violence between majority and minority. It is also a fact that in many riots, minorities are bigger victims.
No, they have.
But this is not the way to protect them.
You know, counters coming in, you know, one on timing. I want Randeep Surjewala to respond on timing, and then Kamal Farooqi on the point. Siddharth, I'll come to you at the end of it, and then we'll go to open debate with your permission. Randeep Surjewala first on the timing. Why are you timing this to 2014? Is this an attempt to say sorry to everybody who's accused the centre of not acting during the Muzaffarnagar riots? That's point number one. And why don't you just drop this whole definition of majority-minority from the idea of communal riots?
It will be dropped.
Pardon me?
It has been dropped.
You have not dropped the contentious group definition in the final draft.
That's what I'm trying to explain. 1 minute. Can I explain 1 minute?
No. 1 second. I want Randeep Surjewala.
The government is bringing its own bill.
No, 1 second. Randeep Surjewala.
And the government has changed the definition of group.
Arnab, can I?
Mr. Surjewala,
Or
one
no,
on
why
the
don't
timing.
you have one-on-one with Tista?
Arnab, can I? Only if you let me answer, then I can answer your question. Arnab, there are two things. Unfortunately, the perpetrators of genocide in Gujarat talk about timing. It makes it extremely fanciful. There is no timing for being right. There is no timing for upholding the constitutional values. And there is no timing for truth. It is a fact that it is part of 2009 election promise of the Congress
There
party.
you admit it.
We have, after elaborate discussion, decided there it has been discussed elaborately with all stakeholders, and we propose to bring it now. One thing that everybody is digressing from, it is not a communal violence bill to protect minorities alone. Please see its title again. To all my friends on this debate and your viewers, I want to say it is against targeted violence of scheduled castes. It is a bill to protect targeted violence of scheduled tribes,
Sir,
targeted violence of linguistic minorities and of minorities. So, sir, when we look at the bill only from the myopic prism of current day politics, for heaven's sake, I want to tell my friends like Mr. Sudhir Kulkarni, rise above your phobia of minority versus majority, and let's look at India as a nation and do a bounden duty under the Constitution.
So why don't you just say violence? Why does this act have to say, you know, every act in this bill is against a group, which by definition, implication is against a member of the majority, against a member of the majority community, against the minority community? Why are you making that assumption? Kamal Farooqi, that's a fact. Group means religious or linguistic minority. In any state or union of India or scheduled caste or scheduled tribes. No, let's get the
scheduled caste and scheduled tribes.
1 minute. Or scheduled caste and scheduled tribe within the meaning of clauses 24, 25 or Article 366 of the Constitution of India. So Kamal Farooqi, you know, Sudhindra Kulkarni in his opening remarks gave the example of Godhra. He gave the example of Godhra. Would that not invite the attention as per this definition of the Communal Violence Act? Please just answer that.
No, let me please tell you 2-3 things very quickly, in fact. Number one, communal violence has been the disease of our country since independence. And thousands and thousands have been people have been butchered. Unfortunately, So most of the people who have been killed, it has been given the census also. Look at the figures we have recently got. Most of them, the minorities have suffered because they are on the weaker side. They don't have a proper representation in the police department. They have got the bias. All those kind of things are there. So to cover up all those kind of things, there has to be a bill and enactment wherein 2-3 things have to be done. One, the command responsibility. The person who is responsible to administer the particular area, he is responsible not only during the riots, but before that, the kind of literature, the kind of CDs, the kind of all those things are being spreading. It is his responsibility to look into the whole thing, and he should be made responsible, because I've seen in Muzaffarnagar that the very conveniently have said that the political bosses have done it. If this bill is coming over there, whosoever is in the government, they will not be in a position to do anything with the law enforcing agency. They will be responsible because they'll the command. Number one. Number two is.
So what about equality before the law?
That this bill is wide.
What about equality before the law?
Equality before law is there. Sir, equality before law is there. Yes, you are absolutely right. Equality before law is there, and that's the reason we have been saying. TISA is also saying that even for this group, we have already said in so many words that the victims should be the person. In fact, whosoever is the victim.
So, but how do you presume a victim is only from a minority community?
Cover all those kind of. Who is saying it? Who is saying it? Minority community.
Sir, this definition of this bill.
When we are saying scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, you tell me, is there any member in the minority community of the scheduled caste?
Sir, I am asking you religious or linguistic minority. That's the definition of the group. Sir,
yes, even that is also there.
Kamal Faruqi.
Religious, linguistic, scheduled caste. All those people are covered over there.
Sir, this country.
If at all,
and scheduled tribes.
Sir, this country. No, 1 minute.
We should come on the trade.
1 minute.